Today, we're going to talk about a slightly different topic. We've all seen a zombie movie or TV show at least once in our lives, right? In movies, everything is much simpler. A virus spreads, the dead rise, they bite, they multiply, and the world falls apart. But let me tell you a secret. The imagination of Hollywood screenwriters cannot even come close to nature. Nature is much more cruel, much more creative, and much more terrifying than we know. Today, I won't be telling you fictional stories. I'll be talking about 8 real threats existing in our world right now that turn humans and animals into living dead while they're still alive. After this video ends, you'll look at everything around you differently. Grab your tea or coffee, lean back, because after this list, you'll truly think a zombie apocalypse could happen. If you're ready, let's begin. 8. Haiti, the home of the risen dead. Let's start our list with the most classic, but perhaps the most horrifying one. Do you know where the word zombie comes from? From Haitian culture. There, being a zombie isn't just a fairy tale, it's a form of brutal crime. Look at the most famous case, the story of Clairvius Narcisse. Imagine, in 1962, this man was officially declared dead in a hospital. Doctors confirmed his death, and his family buried him. But the story doesn't end there. Exactly 18 years later, that same man returned to his village. His family was in shock. Everyone thought it was his ghost, but no, he was alive. What was the secret behind this? A special zombie cocktail. Certain sorcerers in Haiti use a very powerful poison called tetrodotoxin taken from pufferfish. This poison puts the human body into such a state that body functions slow down. Incredibly, the heartbeat seems to stop, and breathing is almost undetectable. Even modern doctors could mistake you for dead. The worst part is, they bury you alive. You hear everything, you understand what's happening around you, but you can't even move a finger. It's like being imprisoned inside your own body. Then they dig you up and feed you a special plant mixture called zombie cucumber. This substance completely fogs the brain and erases your memory. You're no longer a human, just a soulless piece of flesh following orders. And perhaps this practice still continues secretly in Haiti. 7. Prions, the killers that won't die. Now, let's step into a microscopic nightmare. You've all heard of mad cow disease, but most of you don't know what it actually is. The cause of this disease is not a virus or a bacteria. These are prions. Prions are actually proteins already in our brains, but they've gone rogue. They are misfolded. They don't have a brain or a purpose. But because they aren't alive, you cannot kill them. Boiling, freezing, wiping with alcohol, even radiation doesn't affect them. They do not disappear. Once these prions enter your brain, they act like a zombie virus. They touch other healthy proteins and turn them into versions of themselves. As a result, your brain slowly begins to rot and microscopic holes appear inside it. Eventually, your brain looks exactly like a sponge. In humans, it starts with personality changes. You become irritable and aggressive. Then, you lose the ability to walk, your muscles twitch, and finally, you just shut down. In the 80s and 90s, this disease spread in England, and the government was forced to burn hundreds of thousands of animals. The scariest prediction is this: if prions ever mutate and spread faster, we won't be able to stop it, because we have neither a medicine nor a vaccine against them. 6. Toxoplasma, your cat friend controlling your brain. Do you have a cat at home? If your answer is yes, you might not like this part. After this section, you'll look at your cat with a bit of suspicion. There is a tiny parasite called Toxoplasma gondii. This microscopic monster has one big wish: to get into a cat's stomach, because it can only reproduce there. But how does it get there? To do this, it turns mice into a kind of kamikaze zombie. Normally, a mouse is afraid of a cat and its smell. It hides, right? But this parasite shuts off the fear center in the mouse's brain. It even goes further. making the mouse sexually attracted to the smell of cat urine. Yes, you heard that right. The mouse falls in love with the cat and runs straight toward it. The result? The cat eats the mouse, and the parasite reaches its goal. But what about humans? About 1/3 of the people in the world have this parasite. It passes to us from cat litter or undercooked meat. While it doesn't turn us into zombies and make us run toward lions, it does affect our behavior. According to research, people with this parasite in their brains are more prone to taking risks, getting into car accidents, and even suicidal thoughts. Maybe that extreme risk-taking behavior of your acquaintance is because of this tiny parasite? 5. Airborne rabies, the invisible death. Rabies is already one of the most terrifying viruses on Earth. If symptoms ever show up, it is 100% death, no exceptions. The virus hijacks your brain, turning you into a creature that is afraid of water, sensitive to light, and incredibly aggressive. But we always knew rabies spreads through bites. Now, listen, because this might be the beginning of your nightmares. Scientists discovered something horrifying in bat caves. The virus can stay suspended in the AIR. Saliva, waste, and particles from bats mix with the cave's air and create a cloud of death. 2 researchers died from rabies, not because they were bitten, but simply because they breathed in that cave. Imagine if this virus evolves a bit more and starts spreading in city air or subway stations. Anyone could become rabid just by breathing. Cities would instantly fill with people afraid of water and attacking each other. And the worst part is, this virus is everywhere. It's just one mutation away. 4. Meow and Flakka, chemical zombies. Nature doesn't always create the zombie. Sometimes human greed and error do. In recent years, synthetic drugs known as Meow or Flakka have become an epidemic on the streets. These substances act like a dopamine bomb on the human brain. Those who take it lose the sense of pain entirely, gain incredible physical strength, and lose all connection with reality. Perhaps you've seen these videos on the internet. People jumping onto cars half naked, slamming their heads against walls, even attacking people and trying to bite them. Doctors say it sometimes takes 5 or 6 strong police officers just to hold one person down. Their body temperatures rise so high that they start stripping off or running toward cold places. This is, quite literally, a chemical zombie apocalypse. And the scariest part? These poisons are very cheap to make in labs, and new types come out every day. 3. Puppet Master, worms, the string, inside you. Now, let's look at the insect world, because everything is even grosser there. There is a creature called the horsehair worm. It waits in the water as a microscopic larva. If an insect drinks the water, this parasite enters its body, and it starts growing there. Imagine, it grows so large that its length becomes several times the length of the insect itself. It eats the insect's internal organs, but it doesn't kill it on purpose, because the worm needs to get back to the water. To do this, it takes over the insect's nervous system. It basically hacks its brain. While the insect should normally avoid water, it starts walking directly toward the center of the water under the worm's influence. The insect enters the water and drowns. This is literally a suicide. And at that moment, the worm bores out of the insect's body. You think this only happens to insects? In nature, it only takes a few thousand years for parasites to jump from one species to another. If you ever see humans walking involuntarily toward the ocean, just know, it's already too late. 2. Cordyceps, the reality of The Last of Us. If you've played The Last of Us, you've definitely heard the name Cordyceps. This type of fungus targets ants. Once a spore falls on an ant, it bores through its armor and gets inside, but it doesn't kill the ant immediately. The fungus starts controlling the ant's muscles like a puppeteer. It takes the ant out of its nest and makes it climb the highest leaf in the forest. There, the ant bites the vein of the leaf with a death grip, and dies. Then, the horror movie begins. A fungal stalk grows out of the ant's head, and thousands of new spores scatter from there to turn more ants into zombies. For years, scientists said, "Don't worry, the human body is too warm. The fungus can't live in us." But I have bad news. Due to global warming, fungi are already getting used to higher temperatures. They are evolving. There are already fungi like Candida auris infecting humans that no medicine can touch. Perhaps Cordyceps is very close to reaching us.
1. 48,000-year-old zombie viruses. And finally, the number 1 on our list, the biggest threat, the ancient monsters sleeping under the Arctic ice. Scientists in Siberia have found viruses from 48,500 years ago under the ice. Imagine, these viruses existed when humans still lived in caves, when mammoths walked the earth. They've been sleeping in a frozen state for thousands of years. Scientists woke them up in the lab, and the result terrified everyone. These viruses are still active. They still have the ability to infect cells. As the ice melts, and as oil and gas companies drill into the depths of the Arctic, these viruses mix into the atmosphere. Our immune systems don't recognize these ancient viruses, so we have no defense. We struggled so much with a common virus recently. Imagine what killer viruses from 50,000 years ago could do to us. They're waking up, and we are not ready. As you can see, the world is more mysterious than we thought. You don't necessarily need a fantastic scenario for a zombie apocalypse. Nature itself is preparing it. Which number scared you the most? Which event do you think is most likely? Write it in the comments. I'll definitely read and discuss them. If this video was interesting for you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can check out my previous video from right here on the screen.